In the history of all mankind, trials have occurred in tribunals established by kings, governments, and religions. This age-old practice has sentenced Jesus Christ, Joan of Arc, the alleged witches of Salem, and numerous others. It is a hallowed process that is a part of every advanced society known to man. Though important in history, trials were observed by a small section of the public. That all changed on December 6, 1955, when a KWTX-TV news crew walked under the statues of Themis, the divine goddess of law and prophecy, and Lady Justice, a symbol of liberty and freedom around the world, to the main entrance of the McLennan County Courthouse in Waco, Texas. Through the eye of a television camera, they would broadcast a jury trial to the largest audience in history at that time. This live broadcast exposed viewers to the true procedures and ways of trial by jury. This single act has sparked numerous arguments and has given birth to an industry that is incredibly successful and important in this modern day. Waco, Texas in 1955 was a small but bustling town of approximately 85,000 people. The city is home to one of the most beautiful courthouses in the United States of America. It was erected in 1902 and has stood as a place of justice in McLennan County for over 100 years. The 54th District Court, located on the third floor of the courthouse, was the stage for the first live televised jury trial. The case to be tried was styled The State of Texas versus Harry Washburn. The incident that led to this trial was the murder of Helen Harris Weaver. It was alleged that her son-in-law, Harry Washburn, rigged a detonator and 10 sticks of dynamite to the starter in her husband's car. He meant to kill his father-in-law, Harry E. Weaver, a wealthy man of San Angelo, Texas. The car bomb murder was a magnet for media attention. The original trial to be held in San Angelo was moved to McLennan County because the court could not find an unbiased jury. Tom Moore, the district attorney of McLennan County, read a story in the newspaper about the problem of seating a fair and impartial jury. He then contacted his friend and counterpart, Aubrey Stokes, the district attorney of Tom Green County. Moore offered to try the case in McLennan County for Stokes on a change of venue. Prior to the trial, D.W. Bartlett, the judge of the 54th District Court of McLennan County, was asked to allow a live television feed of the high-profile Washburn trial from the balcony of his court. Judge Bartlett was receptive of the idea, because less than 6 months earlier, a photographer for the Waco paper had secretly taken still photos during a court proceeding. The photographer had a new camera with a telephoto lens and used film that did not require a flash. The paper published the in-court photo, and to their surprise, Judge Bartlett reacted positively, because the court proceedings had not been disrupted. Judge Bartlett gave the station permission to broadcast the trial, even though Canon 35 of American Bar Association's Code of Judicial Conduct advised against cameras in the courtroom. Judge Bartlett was criticized by Chief Justice W. H. Duckworth of the state of Georgia, who was the chair of the Council of States Chief Justices. Justice Duckworth said, "Televising the trial made it like a bullfight." Judge Bartlett responded by saying, when Fulton used his first steamboat, he was jeered. But the steamboat is accepted now. They do not understand. If they understood how this is being handled, they would not object. Another proponent of the idea was the defendant, Harry Washburn. He was quoted as saying, "I think it's great," and "Let it go all over the world. I don't care." The general manager of KWTX-TV at the time was Buddy Bostick. He was a very witty and smart man that founded the television station in Central Texas. Buddy Bostick recalled the decision to televise the trial.
Everybody knew, and it was the talk of the town because it was a unique experience for everybody. Very few people had experienced a court situation, so they were anxious to see what a murder trial would be like. And they watched it well.
Bill Stinson, the KWTX-TV news director, is credited with the idea of a live broadcast of the trial. The fledgling station needed programming as they had no affiliation with the national network. No one had any idea that the trial would be coined the Talk of Texas Trial, or that a prominent newspaper would ever say, KWTX-TV quietly set about making some television and judicial history. The trial truly would leave its mark on the entire world. On December 6, 1955, a KWTX-TV news crew carried a camera, broadcasting equipment, and cables up to the balcony of the 54th District Court. It was to be a live broadcast, without editing. No commercials were run during the trial. This resulted in a loss of $10,000 in advertising revenue by the TV station. Everything that was said was broadcast, and it was a true live show of a jury trial. The arguments opened on that cold December morning in 1955, and in the audience was a Life magazine reporter, London Times reporter, various other media outlets, and anyone in KWTX-TV's broadcasting area with a television. The trial started as many others would, except for the fact that there was a TV camera to broadcast the whole thing. The opening arguments were given, and then the first live televised trial was underway. The trial was interesting, though tough to follow, as accusations flew from one side of the court to the other. Washburn was accused of slaying his former mother-in-law. A number of witnesses were called to the stand, and after nearly 4 days the testimony was closed, and the jury was charged with deciding the question of guilt or innocence. The jury returned a verdict of guilty. On December the 10th of 1955, the front pages of numerous newspapers filled with the headline, "Jury sentences Washburn to life for car bombing." With that verdict, the most viewed trial in the history of mankind at that time came to a conclusion. KWTX-TV viewers responded favorably. School teachers believed it to be educational, and for the students at Baylor Law School, it was required to be viewed. When the trial was over, everybody involved in the trial concluded that the TV cameras had a profound effect on the outside world, but none whatsoever in the courtroom. Judge Bartlett even commented, "I never saw a better behaved bunch of lawyers." On that day, the jury returned a verdict of life, and although Washburn and his attorneys were sure it would be overturned on appeal, the win was a very crucial one for McLennan County DA Tom Moore. He evoked memories of the trial during a personal interview.
I was interviewed by newspapers from London and South Africa, and had letters from Alaska, and it was sort of a phenomenon internationally.
The first live televised trial was over. What would be next? The industry was born, but what or who would enhance it? On April 11th, 1961, Adolf Eichmann was put on trial for crimes against humanity by the Israeli government in a Jerusalem court. His vile acts as the leader and architect of the Holocaust made his trial a very newsworthy subject. The Prime Minister of Israel allowed for cameras in the courtroom in order to educate a whole new generation of members of the Jewish faith about the Holocaust. The trial of Adolf Eichmann took televising trials to the next level, as it was broadcast around the world. Since the first photos were taken of a trial, attorneys, journalists, and judges have been unable to resolve the issue of just how open courtroom proceedings should be to the public. Opponents of the issue say it takes away dignity from the trials because it detracts, degrades, and distracts from the trial at hand. Proponents assert that the general public has the right to witness a courtroom trial. The judicial system is fundamental to our republic. In the end, it may just show how much dignity is in a trial, and perhaps more importantly, the reality of a trial. The ways and procedures of trial by jury have now been shown to the whole world, and it has truly changed our view on them. It has definitely impacted the public perception of criminal justice, and has even changed what we may watch on TV. The innovation of televising trials has impacted us all, and had never been seen before until that day, December 6th, 1955.